Hello there, and welcome to this week's edition of Creative Critique. Now, the newly released cinematic film that I saw this week was the new film Everest. Now, Everest revolves around two teams of mountaineers venturing up Everest in 1996 and their events. This is a true story based upon true events. So I think it's very fair to say that given this has been turned into a film, might suggest that certain things occurred that were unfortunate. That's a terrible way of putting it and describing it, but I think you understand. My point is that by me saying what particular things go on with this film or describe certain aspects of it, it's not going to be a spoiler, as, come on, you're going to see a film about two teams hiking up a mountain. All things aren't going to turn out that well. It's very fair to say. So, what shall I begin with? I will begin with, it's directed by, Baltasar Komaku, who is a director who has had a few recent films. I've only seen one of them in particular. His most recent one was called Two Guns, which starred Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington, which I did see in the cinema and I quite enjoyed. I did feel it completely relied upon that sort of chemistry between the two of the characters, and the rest of the film was a little bit flimsy, but I could see it was nice to see that sort of film being made where it was a nice banterish sort of film. So this is the complete opposite end of sort of your spectrum, isn't it? Based on real life, true tragic events, and such a massive film really in terms of spectacle. Now, I will say this particular type of film, the whole spectacle disaster film, I am a big fan of. I am a massive fan of that sort of film. There's something about it that just completely works on screen. I think it's purely, some of it can be some of the true aspects, and obviously a lot of it can be just the magnificent spectacle of it, of humans doing things that they shouldn't be doing, in theory. And so yeah, I did go into the film thinking I will enjoy this sort of film. I had a feeling about it. So who should we go on to first in regards of the film? Well, I was going to start with the 4Js, as I've now referred to them, because first of all what you have is two teams in this, effectively two mountaineering teams, one led by Jason Clarke and one led by Jake Gyllenhaal. In these parties, in Jason Clarke's party, you also have Josh Brolin and John Hawkes, both climbing the mountain for different reasons. In John Hawkes' case, it's the fact that he is a teacher and wants to do something that will inspire his kids. Josh Brolin, it appears, is an experienced climber, and his marriage isn't in great shape, and he loves an excuse to sort of get away, if you will. But they all have their own reasons, in particular, for why they want to do this sort of thing, and in particular, that point is raised by Michael Kelly, who is the journalist who climbs the mountain with this party, and he asks them all that particular question. So that's discussed in the film also. So yeah, there's your 4Js. He has quite a lot of support. So this is a big ensemble cast, as you're about to find out. Other than those four sort of males, you've also got Robin Wright, who is the wife of Josh Brolin. You have Keira Knightley, who is the wife of Jason Clarke, and you also have Emily Watson, who is the base camp manager, if you will. So yeah, big talent, big ensemble and talented cast on show. I had read, we get just a little bit of casting information, that originally this film was going to particularly star Christian Bale. And it was particularly going to focus just on his sort of character and his group. But once he dropped out, they sort of decided to branch out to a more ensemble cast, which I feel does suit the film more, because it's such a group experience in regards to what is going on with the activity and the film in general. It's not an individual. It's in particular because of the way they present it, and obviously with them going up in groups, if you will. I think it completely works as a ensemble because every individual matters and every individual is given ample screen time. So yeah, there are my opinions on how it's been billed as an ensemble film. Great stuff. I'm not going to lie, some of the dialogue does leave a bit to be desired. There's a lot of tropes in there that you can see recycled from other sort of disaster films or adventure films, if you will, where you'll say something, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Your character is doomed, if you didn't already know a particular character's story and how it turns out for them. So yeah, some of the dialogue, like I say, leaves a bit to be desired. The cinematography, without a doubt, is phenomenal. But if there's one thing that is going to be truly fantastic about this film, it has to be the cinematography, doesn't it? Because you've got to believe you are up that mountain with them. So that is fabulous. That atmosphere is great. The performances, in referring to the cast, the performances are very, very good. I must particularly bring up Emily Watson, because I think she does a fantastic job to create that intensity for that base camp manager of hoping everybody's going to come back alive and keeping tabs on who's where and what they're doing and getting in contact with families and getting in contact with rescue services and things like that. And I think she does a really good job in that sort of role. Jason Clarke is probably out of all of them the lead, because he's the leader of the main group in this film. So he probably gets more screen time than only slightly more, but than others. He does an alright job. I'm not the biggest fan of Jason Clarke. I feel he doesn't quite impose himself as an actor as he should do for somebody who's now been in quite a lot of films and had quite prominent lead roles. There's just something about him that, I don't know, he needs a bit more screen presence. Exactly what when Jake Gyllenhaal pops up has, because he sort of steals it a little bit from me, even though he's not he's completely a pop-up character, if you will. A significant pop-up character, but he owns the screen. Maybe it's his character is what lends itself more to the role, I don't know. But Gyllenhaal manages to stamp himself a bit on it more. And you do remember Josh Brolin quite significantly, and John Hawkes as well, because of what's going on with his characters, because they're interesting stories. So yeah, decent stuff generally all around on the performance front. Like I say, the spectacle is wonderful. The looming sense of danger and dread is superb. It is superb, because even though you kind of know where this is going to go, it still manages to have that effect on you. And that is important, because it does make you connect more. I think, and obviously the fact that it is a true story does by itself make it connect more, because you realise this is only a dramatisation, but this is what people have gone through. And it's significant danger in this, and what propels people to do this is beyond imagination, isn't it? So, I love the spectacle of the film. I really, really enjoyed this film. I'm just trying to think of other things that I didn't enjoy. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, and I can't quite think of them, other than, like I say, particular segments of dialogue that I kind of find a little bit, like I say, yeah, not up to great standards, but great ensemble cast. I think it's a great cinematic movie, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy that sort of film, like I said. But yeah, there we go. Everest. It'd be interesting to see where this sort of pops up on the awards sort of roster, because it has all the, let's face it, a tragic true story, and a really decently made tragic true story film always tend to have appearances on the awards roster. So we'll see what sort of standard it's up against when we see other films coming. When we in Britain see other films coming out anyway in the coming 3 to 4 months. So yeah, that was Everest. I really enjoyed it. I think you should all see it as well. Right, so my classic film of the week is a film that has been described on, I believe it was on Wikipedia, as also a significantly cult following film. as a cult following. It's not going to do that. It's no Scientology. It's Caddyshack. There we go. Caddyshack is my classic film of the week. Now, this sort of film, to give it sort of classic status, is really fascinating, because the sort of film it is, first of all, sport comedy. Now, sport comedy is littered with superb films and truly terrible films. It's extremely fair to say, as I say on an often basis. Yes. So, what I do like, right, is it stars, in principle, right, the actual main character is played by a character, an actor called Michael O'Keefe, who plays a kid who works as a caddy at a golf course, and he hasn't got the grades to get into college, so he wants to attain a caddy scholarship by winning a tournament, if you will. But she does. Oh, I'll just spoil a little bit there. Sorry about that. But that isn't the important aspect of the film. The aspect of the film is really the other main players in this film, who are played by, in principle, Chevy Chase, Ted Knight, Rodney Dangerfield, and the always wonderful Bill Murray. As you always say, when you say Bill Murray, saying the always wonderful Bill Murray. Entertainment there. So yeah. And that is what build the film, and is exactly why you need to see this film, because these are 4 brilliant comic performances by these characters. In particular, Bill Murray just plays an absolute idiot groundskeeper, just spouting out rubbish and being an idiot. I will not say he's on top form, Bill Murray. Rodney Dangerfield, he is just a line. He's a line a minute. He is absolutely ridiculously quotable, isn't he? Wonderful, truly wonderful. This film. I think actually my favourite moments in this film are from Rodney Dangerfield himself, because he is just off the wall, crazy, batshit crazy, isn't he? But yeah, Ted Knight is completely, and it's a nice dynamic between Chevy Chase and Ted Knight as sort of the slacker, sort of brilliant golfer, and Ted Knight, the owner, or one of the principal people at the golf course, who was an uptight snob. So there's great sort of stuff going on between all these characters. These great comic performances interplay between them all, and it is just completely absurd as well, because it's quite famous for the fact that there's a gopher in the film, and he's a puppet gopher who terrorizes Bill Murray throughout the whole film, and he's a quite obvious puppet golfer. And he's a little dance, like, you know, to Kenny Loggins singing "I'm Alright." Yeah, I won't do any more than that, because I should never sing. Let's be fair. So yeah, it's just absolutely off the wall comedy, and yes, I can completely appreciate it might not be everyone's taste, but I think the absurdity of particular aspect, the pool scene is wonderful. The final, every Ted Knight interaction with Rodney Dangerfield is fabulous. This is a short film, but it's exactly what it needs to be. Harold Ramis directed this film. The wonderful Harold Ramis. It was his first directing gig before he did films like Groundhog Day and Analyze This and National Lampoon's Vacation and things like that. And he did a fantastic job. He obviously contributed to the writing as well, which is wonderful. Great stuff. Truly great stuff from Harold Ramis as a director, and great performances out of his cast, who, as being a comic actor as himself, has clearly got the best out of them. So yeah, I think Caddyshack, nice bit of music in there, wonderful performances, and a great classic comic film and comic sports film. So yeah, I think Harold Ramis has produced a fabulous film here, and every time I see it, I think it's truly wonderful. Caddyshack there, my classic film of the week. There we go. My classic film of the week, of course, was Caddyshack, which I think is fabulous. And my theatrical release film of the week was Everest. Great cinematic experience. I really enjoyed that film. I just really enjoyed it. There we go. I thank you for watching if you have. It'd be fabulous if you could subscribe. And I hope to see and speak to you again next time. Thank you again, and goodbye.